Saturday evening, you can hear the game live on 1010XL. Pre-game starts at 7:30. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will face the Detroit Lions on Sunday afternoon with hopes of getting to the conference championship. Bucs head coach Todd Bowles likes his quarterback Baker Mayfield having his swag back.
It's great seeing Baker be Baker. He looks like he's having fun like he was in college. It's really helping him. It's really helping us.
The players roll out its 2024 ticketing and initiatives for the military this week, highlighted by the Military Appreciation Day activities on March 12th, 2 days before the first round of the 50th players, and continuing throughout the week with the Patriots Outpost located near the 16th tee of the Players Stadium course. At your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, I'm Sam Nelson.
At 9:59, it's 56 degrees. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Trevor drops, looks, fires back in the end zone. Caught for the touchdown! Touchdown in the back of the end zone to Calvin Ridley, and Jacksonville has taken the lead. Checks it down underneath. That's a crossing route to Christian Kirk. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Christian Kirk to the goal line. Touchdown, Jacksonville. A crossing route to Christian Kirk, and the Jags have retaken the lead. Fires this one deep downfield, and that ball is going to be picked off. The Jags pick it off, and they're going to run it back. That is Dewey Wingard, picked it off in the middle of the field. He's still running it back. He got it into Pittsburgh territory. Andrew Wingard stepped up and picked that thing off.
Just disappointing the way we finished our season. Obviously, it's definitely not good enough. You know, things start with me, and I got to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable and I'm doing all I can to, help our football team win on and off the football field, but just not good enough.
It hurts, it hurts to not be able to finish, and you look at where we were at one point in the season and just finished really, really poorly and kind of, gave it away. So there's so many things you look at, and it's disappointing and frustrating, and we have a lot of really great players, and I think we had the potential to be a great team. We didn't finish the year that way.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and
Hold my pocket!
Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's always a happy Friday when Tommy Mack is in the studio. Good morning, Tom McManus.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, man.
All right.
It's Friday. It's always a good day.
Love to hear you're doing great.
I love, talking on the radio. So it's good.
It's
good
a
to
perfect,
be here with you,
it's
fellas.
a perfect combination of events
man.
that's all come together. Tony, good morning.
Yep.
Good morning.
Tony's rocking the Jags gear today.
Yeah, man.
Like it?
Yep. AF. Air Force.
Duval Air Force,
And
baby. Friends. Duval and Friends. That's correct.
Duval and Friends.
He's Duval and Friends.
Duval
Friends
affiliated.
everywhere, man.
Yeah, Pockets.
Yeah.
What's up with you, man? Are you in the hyperbaric chamber over there, or what's going on?
Yeah, we chilling. I'm gonna stay loose during the break. We got a big seniors versus faculty game at 1:15.
Ooh.
So
This is how young,
I hope I
young
make it out
Pockets
alive.
is, right? Like
Yeah.
Pockets
No,
is,
I know.
is an
I
assistant
asked
coach,
him,
right?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so you're going to be posting up like the art teacher. And then it dawned on me, no, wait a minute. He's on the faculty.
He's on the faculty.
He's on the
yeah.
faculty
Yeah.
side of things.
Those are
right
great
there.
games, man. I remember doing that.
Yeah, I never did it in basketball. We did
Yeah, we
it
did
in
it in basketball.
softball.
Oh,
back in the day. That was
sure.
fun. But
Yeah, heck yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Beating up on a couple teachers was always fun.
Oh, not everybody loved that, just watching. Although, you know what, you could earn some serious cred if you were a teacher if you had any game.
Yo, having my senior year.
No doubt.
We
used to play retired Jags would play the Landrum School, the faculty, and they had some ballers. I mean, they beat us a couple times. I mean, then we had to bring in like James Stewart, a couple ringers.
Some ringers.
To even it out because they could play ball, they could shoot, they could jump. They were good athletes. Good athletes everywhere, man.
There sure are.
They really are.
Pockets, what were you saying a second ago here?
One of the faculty my senior year balled up one of the seniors, crossed him out of his shoes.
Ooh.
The gym just went nuts.
Yeah, you would not your reputation would not survive. Like the 10-year reunion, you're hearing about that.
Right. Oh,
right?
yeah.
The time
absolutely.
you got wrecked in the
no doubt.
faculty
You're right about
pickup
that.
game. You will hear
Forever
about that.
in lore.
No doubt. Oh, man, how nice would it be? We were playing this time last year. Jags getting ready for the Kansas City Chiefs, and, it's old puncher's chance, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you're going into the Lions' den, but let's see what happens. And they had opportunities. It was there for them, Tone. I mean, they had a great chance. They could have been, it's so close to getting to the AFC title game last year.
Yep.
No, it's not like they haven't been there before.
Yeah, I was telling Pockets, I'm jonesing for baseball, right? And that usually doesn't happen until a couple weeks after whatever's going on with the Jags is done. Then I start feeling it's like, all right, Brave season's right around the corner. I got a couple months still before that begins. Last year, that got delayed, like to the point where this morning I'm watching a short, like an at-bat of Eric Gagne pitching to Barry Bonds, right? I'm like, because Gagne had won the Cy Young that year and Bonds was the MVP. That's cool. I'll watch that again in the playoffs. I love baseball, but it usually takes me a couple weeks after football season's done, and so I start feeling that itch again.
Right.
For Major League Baseball to be back. I'm in the middle of it, man. I'm ready for spring training, all that. Happy to talk Jaguars football every day, but doggone them that we aren't still talking about them playing.
I love the playoffs, man. I love them because it's especially the divisional. I think the divisional playoff round.
Best weekend of football.
Yeah, it is just
the best.
To me, the best the whole year.
I agree.
One of the best sports weekends of the year.
Yeah. We went 4 years in a row, but I only played in 2 of them, 96 and 98. And it's man, the hype, just the feeling of confidence going in with your fellas, going into battle. It's just there's 8 left. If you mess up, you're done. Got to be on your total game. It's just so like you can't even explain how
the way your
great it
whole
is.
fan base will feel about the next 6 to 8 months is determined by the outcome of 1 or 2 games.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
The Bucks. I think if the Bucks go in, even if they lose, but they give Detroit a run for their money, and they bring Baker back, and they bring Mike Evans back, they're going to feel pretty good going into next year.
And you don't always have to get into the playoffs to create that momentum, right? Like Detroit created that with the back half of their season last year and ending the season, ending the Packers season, right? Like that was enough for them to have momentum going into an offseason that they obviously have carried over into the next year. Now they got an opportunity to play in an NFC championship game for the first time in the Super Bowl era?
Which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Listening to Campbell after that last game where he brought his GM in front of the TV, or in front of the team in the locker room, did you see that? And it was interesting what he said. He said, we had a plan 3 years ago. He gave him a game ball. So he's like, we had a plan 3 years ago of what kind of player we wanted to have on this team. He didn't talk about talent, didn't talk about any of that. It was just what kind of player. And it fits, right? You got to have the right talent with the culture, the scheme, and it fits. I say that. I tell you what, if there's an upset to be picked, I think Tampa's got some momentum, man. I feel like they are feeling really confident that they can go into Detroit and win that game. I want Brunell to keep going, of course. That's a tie, but as far as what I'm thinking, I think Tampa, they remind me a little bit of 96. You just get on a hot streak at the right time. Defense starts playing a little bit better. Offense is clicking. The quarterback's rocking. Your offensive line, very physical, getting after people, setting the tone. So, going to be a tall order, don't get me wrong, but I think Todd Bowles has got those guys believing they can go up there and win.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you as far as that goes. But I'll push back a little bit on Tony's the momentum thing. Like, I'm more like Mike Vrabel said. Mike Vrabel's like, none of this matters. This if we win he said this going into week 18. If we win, this is not going to impact us in OTAs or minicamps 1 iota. We just want to win today because that's what we play for. We play to win. I don't know. Like the Jags, super hot down the stretch last year, go into the postseason. They've got all this feeling and everything. And, okay, they won their opener, but then they dropped their next 2. I don't know.
I don't think it's a blanket thing. I think Detroit treated the last week of the regular season like a playoff game against Green Bay. We're not going to the playoffs, but they're not either, right? Yeah. And this is a playoff game for us. I don't even think Tennessee did that in Week 18 this year. No. I think they said, you know what, we'll give it a shot this week, and they were better than the Jags on that day. Good for them. I think Detroit felt momentum and wanted to hold it. Tennessee had no momentum to hold. I think Detroit was a different story. I just don't think they're all equal. I don't think it's one thing.
I think the outcome kind of determines it, though. Like
usually,
like did Detroit have momentum, or are they just a good team that continue to get better and then they played well this year? You know what I mean? Like I don't know what the answer to that is.
Momentum can carry depending on where the state of your franchise is in. You know what I mean? Like what if you've gone, I don't know, you've had losing records for 2 or 3 years in a row, and then you finish 9-8. Like, okay, you finish strong that end of that year. Can you take some of the momentum into the next year? I think you can. I think what's different about Detroit, and you may not agree with this, but I think he kept him humble. I think he said, you know what, we haven't done anything yet. We got to keep working, keep going. And I don't think it was just here, coach speak. I think they all believe, like, you know what, we haven't done nothing. I think the Jags, and I think Philly too, man. I think they got a little big for their britches, man. They got 10-1, thought they had it all down. Everything was good. Now, granted, they switched the defensive coordinator mid-season and all that. Maybe that's not a good thing to do.
They lost both their coordinators in Philadelphia.
That's true.
In the offseason.
So, but that slide, you know what I mean? Very similar to the Jags. I don't know. Sometimes you got to wonder what's going on in that locker room.
Philly was a fumble away from probably winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's where they were last year, and the back half of this season just completely
I was yelling. I'm not even a fan. I was yelling at him for all those missed tackles. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? Nobody knows how to tackle anymore. It's crazy.
So the Bucs dusted them off pretty well, which gives them that momentum going into Detroit.
Agreed.
Today, we're asking our official Chad and Sandy real estate question today is about the weekend's playoff matchups. Which of the four underdogs is the best bet to cover the spread? Not necessarily win outright, but so that could change it. But I think all of them you can make a case for. The Texans getting 9.5 versus Baltimore. Green Bay getting 9.5 versus San Fran. The Bucs getting 6.5 on the road in Detroit, and the Chiefs getting 2.5 up in Buffalo. Deion Dawkins made a good point. Chiefs have never played in Buffalo with fans in the stands. Remember, they had a COVID game up there, and the stands were basically empty when they beat Buffalo the last trip they made up there. So,
we played up there. I mean, it's loud, but it's not the loudest.
No, but I mean, he's just saying, look, if you think you've come into our environment and you know what it's about, you don't know what it's about.
What a nightcap. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be an incredible game. And thank goodness the kickoff's at 6:30 because I can watch the whole thing.
I'm with you.
And not fall asleep.
I'm totally with you.
I'm so excited about the weekend.
Yeah. What time's the early kick on Sunday?
3.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 3 and 6:30.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Awesome.
I'm putting a peg in the ground on Sunday. It's going to be cold.
Yeah.
I'm going to go chase the golf ball, and then going to watch some football
There
after
you
that.
go,
So
man. That's a good day right
I got it all planned. Now we got the 4:30 kick for the Texans-Ravens game.
Oh, on Saturday.
Starting
Right.
off
It's
on
4:30,
Saturday.
8:15. I'm sorry, right.
Yeah,
And then
which
Sunday's
is good.
3 and
I'm on
6:30.
from 3 to 5 on Sirius, so that gives us something to build into. And then
Yeah.
when the games are on,
Yeah.
the radio's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Look, it's a first down.
If you had to pick between Baltimore and San Fran
to win
and their games, who do you think, or who do you think's going to lose?
I don't think
in their
either one of them's
respective
going to
games.
lose.
If you had to pick one, though, who do you think would it be?
I don't know if this is the right. I just think the Texans are going to sneakily give Baltimore more trouble than people think they're going to.
Yeah.
I
think early on they will, for sure.
I think a lot of people. And in fact, I think if the Ravens covered, I think it's a late, kind of like a backdoor cover. I think it's like a one-score game, and then just
Is that 9? Did you say?
That's at 4:30.
No. The points.
Oh, 9.5.
9.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I could see it being like a touchdown game, and then getting the score late to kind of put it away.
Okay.
That kind of situation, something like that. I think more people would pick the Packers to beat the 49ers than they would the reverse. But I don't think either one of them wins, but I think the Texans I don't know. I just have a hunch.
And look, the only reason I bring it up because a lot of it. Look, the Russ game may only last for a quarter or half a quarter or maybe even a couple series. You know what I mean? But you haven't played in game speed in a while. The other team has, right? So they have a little bit of an advantage there. And if they could capitalize that and get up early or just get some momentum early, you have a chance. I don't know if either one's going to be rusty, meaning San Fran or Baltimore, but you got to wonder if they haven't played in a couple weeks now, so that can creep in.
And both teams not playing anybody week 18, right? It's not just 1 week off.
So now it's 2 weeks
it's
or
2 weeks
3
off
almost.
Both these teams are. So it wouldn't be surprising if there is something to the momentum of having won a playoff game.
Yeah,
that matters.
That momentum, I believe.
Right.
Oh
yeah,
like
totally,
week to week momentum.
Yeah. That kind of stuff really does matter.
Season.
And going up against a team that hadn't played their guys in a couple of weeks, they got to get back into it. I'm not saying they can't. Those are clearly the two best teams in football to this point this year. The 2-1 seeds in each conference, right? Like there's no debate who the best team to this point in the season has been in each conference. But you take 2 weeks off and go up against a team that had to find a way to win the week before in a do or die kind of moment. There is something to that. So, I think both teams will their best punch is going to be their early punch. Is that going to be enough to stagger
the 49ers?
That's
the question.
I do not know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk about those matchups today and who we like in the games this weekend, and we'll eat our hearts out with jealousy that the Jags are not among the final 8 playing this weekend. But we've got some Jags-related issues to get into today, including Albert Breer had some commentary in one of his columns about how down the stretch of the season, the Jags front office was a little disenchanted with Press Taylor. So we'll discuss what does that mean? Does it have any bearing on anything at this point in time? Is it too early to look at a couple of mock drafts? Because I feel like I'm ready to look at a couple of mock drafts. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not ready. I want to see.
Are
I want to through the Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl, I start.
You can
thinking
go like
about
this.
Next year.
La 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 la.
It's all good. I won't remember half of it.
Neither will I. All right. Honestly, I can't. It is. I find myself forgetting the most mundane things now from time to time.
Yeah.
I'd be like, who's
What?
like.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember yesterday. I couldn't remember who's playing. Like I remember like 3 of the matchups, and then I'm sitting there trying to rack my brain. Like, who's the other?
Who's the other one?
What's the other game being played this weekend?
NFC.
Oh yeah. And then you're like, of course, you're an idiot, which is often the case.
No, Mike, you just
Stupid, a little slow, whatever. All right, so if you want to weigh in on the question today, we get the poll rolling up there on Twitter or X at MD_1010XL. Also hit up at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Meathead55, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Hold my pocket.
And you can get on board today on the All Pro Roofing phone lines at 641-1010. Same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, or the YouTube chat. We occasionally peek in on that as well. So we got a lot to get into today. We'll talk Jag football, NFL playoff football, and the like for the next 2 hours with you here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Underdog Fantasy. Your typical fantasy football season is over, but you know what? You may not have a particular rooting interest in one of the games this weekend for any particular team. How about rooting for some of the players because you picked them in Underdog Fantasy's Pick'em game, then sit back and just see if the stats pour in. Pick higher or lower on projected player stats throughout the NFL playoffs, and you can spice up the games and win up to 100 times your money if all your picks hit at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is really easy to play, even easier to get started. All you do is go to the App Store, download the Underdog Fantasy app, or simply go to UnderdogFantasy.com in your browser. And when you get there, sign up using promo code 1010XL. And if you do, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's free money for you to play with. I love daily fantasy sports, and Underdog is my site of choice. So why don't you join me by signing up using promo code 1010XL. You do have to be 18 or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. 1010XL is your home for Jacksonville University basketball.
It's back-to-back games at historic Swisher Gym, JU and Kennesaw State, Saturday at 3 on 1010XL.
Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard has the prices you've been waiting for on a new Cadillac.
We've got the all-electric 2024 Cadillac Lyric SUV.
And we're taking $7,500 off at signing.
And this is not a tax credit.
Everyone qualifies at signing on the 2024 Cadillac Lyric SUV.
We've got 13 in stock with 12 on the way.
Randy Marion is the place to go to find your dream Cadillac today.
Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, plus tax tag title $899 and fee and resistol.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Prosser here. Have you tried selling your home and it just wouldn't go? Have you thought about selling your home and thought the problems were too much? Let me give you your solution. It's chadandsandy.com. How's this for a promise? All right? This is a promise. Your home sold, guaranteed, or they will buy it. Chad and Sandy have the solution for your problems. In fact, they have the promises. So don't worry about required costly repairs. Nope. Pick your move date. Yes, you can. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. So many satisfied customers out there. How about Lee and Shelley in Deerwood? We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called because we needed a miracle. We had to move my mom to assisted living and needed money ASAP to pay for it, but Mom's Condo Association was under litigation, which limited the sale to cash buyers only. Chad and Sandy went to work. They had our money 15 days later. Truly a miracle. Call the agents we trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200. Or go to chadandsandy.com.
Hard Rock Bet presents Legal in Florida.
You can bet the game on Hard Rock Bet. No more betting inside your head. Now Hard Rock Bet is legal in Florida. Now Hard Rock Bet is legal in Florida. Legal in Florida. It's safe, it's legal. We'll repeat that, it is legal. Top rated sportsbook and it's the only one that's legal.
Get a no-regret first bet up to $100 when you sign up now. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and over and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality H2O in your home, call your local water boy, Keith, at Kanaya Water Jacksonville. That's Kenai Water Jacksonville.
The Jacksonville Boat Show at Prime Osborne is January 26th to 28th. For your chance to win tickets, text BOAT to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010. 641-1010.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is now offering online scheduling for new patient appointments for all of their physicians. Simply schedule your appointment on your cell phone, tablet, or desktop. JOI is the first orthopedic practice in North Florida to offer this feature to patients. To schedule your appointment online, visit joi.net and click on the button at the top of the page. If you'll be using insurance, be sure and have your information handy. JOI, where the pros go.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Shen Yun shows are coming January 30th to 31st to Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts. Shen Yun revives 5,000 years of civilization through choreographed dance, with music combining classical Western and Chinese instruments and dynamic 3D backdrop. Come see it at least once in your lifetime. January 30th through 31st. Tickets at shenyun.com/FL.
I-9 Sports. Kids all over the First Coast can enjoy growing up on a field or in a gym. Right now, winter and spring registration is open, so make sure you find out what I-9 Sports offers in your area. Duval, Clay, and St. John's. I9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
We'll hit up the text line here in a minute. I get an intriguing little scenario. Sometimes the scenarios get so specific that it's like, come on. We're all these things. And this is pretty specific for what the Jags might do this offseason. They said, what are the chances they do this? Well, doing exactly that, I put it at 0.0 with 8 zeros and a 3 on the end. I just made up a number.
A lot would have to happen.
I don't think it falls exactly this way, but it's an intriguing kind of just overall look at what they
and for the
could do.
Like you've always said, it's better than just, trade up and get this guy with no, how you're going to trade up. This
person at least said, here's a path to what we could do to
potentially
we want Josh Allen back, but what if we did it this way?
Right.
And what we need an impact receiver. What if we did it this way? Could this happen? It's interesting. I'll say that. We'll get into that. Here in a minute. 641-1010. We'll lead off on the phone lines as we often do here on Jaguars Today. And if you want to get in on the divisional round of the playoffs, you're certainly welcome to. Any Jaguar-related topic is typically fair game. Most Jaguar-related topics are fair game here on the program. We'll start with Hampton in Ortega up first this morning. Good morning, Hampton.
Morning, guys.
Hey, Hampton.
This might be kind of jumping ahead about the Albert Breer stuff, but my biggest issue with Trent Baalke isn't so much as what he picks with drafts or who he brings in as free agents. My biggest issue with him is stability inside the franchise. In his last 6 years, he's had 5 coaches. He had Harbaugh, Tom Sula, Chip Kelly, Urban, and now he's got Doug Peterson. And I'm just worried every time there seems to be some issue between him and coaching. And I just want you guys' opinion on, what you think that is and what the issues are.
Okay, if we accept that he has issues, because when Harbaugh leaves, Tom Sula's an interim guy, right? So there's you understand why you go 1, 2, 3 in rapid succession right there. Urban Meyer was a colossal failure who was hired by the owner, right?
Yep.
And the owner kicked him out, so it's not Balky. It's not that Balky didn't get along with Urban Meyer. It's that Urban Meyer's a prick and never had any business coaching this franchise to begin with. Right. So I don't get me personally, and others have brought this up.
Yep.
What is his issue with coach? I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know what the dynamic is like between Peterson and Balky. The Albert Breer thing. Let me just read you the couple of paragraphs out of because John Shipley highlighted this in a piece.
Ship's great.
He said, and this was Breer responding to a question from a reader. He said, "It's funny you ask. There's at least some buzz the past few weeks of the season that the Jacksonville Jaguars front office, led by Balky, was looking hard at where the offense is under Press Taylor. And if you remember, Peterson's loyalty to his coaches is what, in the end, wound up leading to his firing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, there will be staff changes on offense, and now they're looking for a new defensive coordinator. But it's certainly worth paying attention to where this is going next, because the Jags have a lot invested in Trevor Lawrence, and if he doesn't break through in his fourth year, it's fair to think bigger picture questions are asked." First of all, for me personally, the issue I have is the GM, to me, shouldn't have anything to do with the makeup of the coaching staff, other than if he is the guy who hires the head coach, right? And that, I understand Doug Peterson. If I'm the coach and I want to be loyal to my coordinator, you're hiring me to coach the team and put the staff together. That's my responsibility. Right. If you're going to, undercut me, be that ownership or front office, and do that, I would probably react the same way as Doug Peterson, and I would kind of circle the fences on my guy. Whether that's right or not, I know that's how I would react. This feels like Trent Baalke is putting this out there. Who's putting? I've not heard that the front office with the Jags was taking a hard look at Press Taylor. What does that mean? Do you have the authority to change Doug Peterson's staff?
I don't know.
If you're Trent Baalke?
I don't know. I don't know. But I'll tell you this: when Doug fired Caldwell, I immediately thought, man, where'd that come from? Did someone up above say, "Hey, you got to do something. You got to make a move. This was a colossal letdown. We got to do something." I mean, he went from not going to do anything to firing the staff.
He went.
I just felt
went
like
from,
it was Were they looking at him? Were they saying, "Hey, this defense, you're gonna have to get rid of Caldwell. You're gonna have to get rid of some of these coaches."
Well, you said, you went from not looking at it. We don't know.
Fair enough.
You know what
Fair
I mean?
enough.
When he gets up there and he hasn't announced to his staff the changes he's going to make.
Right.
So
it's tough to do right after the game.
It did happen. Yeah. And look, if the owner goes and says, "You got to shake that," what are you going to do to shake things up? Yep. Right? And the head coach feels pressure to make changes to his staff. Maybe he would have made it anyway. I don't know.
Yeah. And at the end of a season where, even with everything that had gone wrong in the past month and a half, they couldn't have expected they were going to lose in Nashville.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're still, in the aftermath of that having just happened, don't know what we're going to do with the staff yet. Next day, somebody's out the door. Maybe it could have been more, who knows?
No, right.
I don't know how all the political ideations of all that, how that all
That's where the GM and the head coach can be not on the same page when politics get involved.
Sure.
And look, it also can be.
There are politics.
It could be that Doug Peterson's just telling you how he feels, that he feels that the offense, there were reasons the offense underperformed, that they shot themselves in the foot. He said as much, right? He goes, when you are putting yourselves in bad situations and you've got a few injuries and you've got these circumstances, almost doesn't matter what play you call. You could read that as he is covering for his guy, Press Taylor. Or you could read that as that's how Doug Peterson feels, and that's why Press Taylor still has a job here.
Right.
And you don't really, I try to choose to take Doug Peterson at his word. I have no reason to believe
He's a Super Bowl winning
otherwise.
coach. He gets the benefit of the doubt, at least at this point.
I'm not aware of any falsehood that he's told us here in Jacksonville about anything.
Yeah, and the most solid thing in all of that is Press Taylor's still the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Right? You can try to parse out the reasons why that may be and why you may not want it to be, but in the end, Press Taylor is still the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. And I know people
team.
have said, look, firing Press is like firing himself. It's well, eventually you get to a point where you're like, that guy's got to go. Or you say, hey, I'm going down with the ship, and that's Doug Peterson's prerogative to do it how he – at least I hope it's his prerogative.
It's what he did in Philadelphia. So if it worked out the same way here in Jacksonville, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it's working out. And I can understand, me included, looking at it saying he's not firing Press because he feels like he's attached to the guy. I get that is what it feels like. I think that is what part of what's going on here in Jacksonville.
Well,
we're
it's
all
a
hoping it works
fraternity,
out,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're friends, and it's tough to fire your friend. You get that, but look, all I keep hearing is Doug feels he can fix the offense, and so let him fix the offense and let him bring the defense in. I mean, look, I didn't think anybody should have been fired. To be honest with you, I wasn't looking for anyone to be fired at all. But it is what it is, and we have to move on. Hopefully, he gets the right DC in here. It doesn't totally add up for me, but whatever. There's other position coaches that could be looked at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the offensive line. Last year, we were touting how great they were. And they were. Remember, they had 4.6 yards a carry, I think.
Yeah.
28 in sacks, top 5 in the league, or bottom 5, however you look at that.
Yeah, Rauscher was the assistant
coach
of the year
he
for
was
him.
the guy of the year. And then this year, okay, we had some injuries, but overall, your team gained a yard per carry, right, or less. They were 3.6 yards per carry, and they were 41 in sacks. So, I don't want them fired. I'm just saying, like, if there's a candidate to be fired if they underperformed.
Absolutely.
If Caldwell's under that same guise of how we're firing people.
I
don't know.
What I don't like
strange.
is
Whatever.
this idea that this suggests that the front office is micromanaging the staff. I don't even know if Trent Baalke has the power to fire Doug Peterson. I don't think he does, because Sean Kahn set it up that both Peterson and Baalke report directly to the owner.
Yes.
So why would Trent Baalke have the power to just unilaterally fire? He'd have to get.
He does.
I don't either. I think he'd have to get Sean's support for that, and he'd go, "Hey, this is a move I think we should make. I got to get you on board." I don't think he can just show up and decide this is what I'm going to do.
And I don't know this, but I'm just ask: do you think Tony Khan's involved anywhere in the executive team? You know what I mean?
Don't know.
He runs a great wrestling thing. I mean, that thing's gone through the. I don't know. Does his
He's
dad
eventually
rely
going to
on
be the
him?
owner?
Wasn't he
I
an
don't know.
analytics guy for us for a long time?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was helping specifically, it felt like, with undrafted free agents. And they had a lot of success with that, right? Like, they got Hearns and they got Robinson. Like, they were pretty good in that specific area. And Tony, it did feel like, was working hands-on with that kind of thing. I don't know beyond that what he's been doing. I do not know.
Yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. They've done what they've done. Now let's just rebuild and, get back to being, a very competitive team. Listen, I've said it all year. We've said it all year long. I've said they're talented enough to be a contender, but not when they're making mistakes left and right. They're not. And most teams can't get by with that, where you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're making bad penalties. You're making bad plays. You're not getting the job done. You're not executing that the play's being called. You forget, we got receivers wide open in the deep secondary. We got tight ends flying all over the place, going wherever the hell you know what I mean? Like, you can't win like that regardless, but you're not talented enough to do all of that and still be in the playoffs.
Agreed.
So I've never, look, to me, I don't know. I know it's an old school thing, but I think it's all attitude, to be honest with you. Yeah, they do have to upgrade. We know the positions they got to upgrade. You got to upgrade center. You got to upgrade the interior three on defense and on offense. But they've got enough talent, in my opinion, to be a real contender. I think it comes down to attitude and preparation and maybe a little bit of humble pie. And hopefully that next year when they go into camp, they're not talking about all the records they're going to break. And we're not either.
All right, we will come back, and I want to get into this little fun kind of thought game scenario and what the Jags could do.
Friday.
Sure, why not?
No, it's great. Fridays are for games.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, tricks are for kids, and Fridays are for games.
Fantastic.
Come on,
let's go.
Yeah.
I voted yes.
You did?
Rabbit could eat tricks, yes. That was a big campaign
really?
when I was a kid. It was like a whole like a little political campaign. It's probably like in 76 or something. I'm sure it was during like a presidential election year.
Oh.
And, because the whole thing was the Trix rabbit wasn't supposed to eat the Trix.
Yep.
I don't know why.
I never knew that.
Yes, and they said, should the rabbit eat Trix, yes or no? And you could vote, and I
Silly
sent
rabbit,
away, and I got a
Trix are
bumper
for
sticker.
kids.
See?
Oh, that's why.
There you,
right. You're
there
not allowed
you go.
to eat
The
it.
rabbit's not
right.
supposed to eat the Trix.
Does the leprechaun get to eat the Lucky Charms?
I think he does.
That was a great cereal.
I think he
haven't
does.
had sweetened cereal like that in decades.
Neither have I. Every time
I go down the aisle,
is not true.
I'm ready to grab like 5 of them.
I don't like the ones with the marshmallows.
Pebbles.
Cocoa Pebbles.
Oh.
I still rock a bowl of Cocoa Pebbles every once in a while, man.
So good.
Awaken 180. Let me tell you all about
That's
them.
not on
coming
the
up.
list.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't since September.
Nice.
Let's put it that way. And that's even with my son coming home from college, getting Cocoa Pebbles, eating half of them, and leaving the rest at home.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there taunting me.
We had a nutritionist, they do too, but back then, and she got up and she told us one time the best thing you can eat late at night is cereal. And
Really?
even if it's sweetened. I don't know why, but she said maybe it had to do with what we were doing, with our bodies the next day. You're going to burn it off anyway. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
I got
It's
to find
that's
that
the best snack you can have.
Digest more easily than all that other stuff you eat at night.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
don't know.
Better than protein bars.
Yeah.
Protein bar.
Bars.
All right, let's take a break here if you want to get in. And the way to do it is 641-1010. I almost gave you the Sirius XM number, so don't call 888-XM Fantasy. All right, I do it from time to time. This is like right on the tip of my tongue. 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark here with you. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Telling you about my success that I've had with Awaken 180. Got a text from a friend who shall remain nameless, but I convinced them to try the Awaken 180 plan, and they started in at the beginning of December. And this was the text I got yesterday. Remember, once you hit your goal weight, you go into what's called maintenance. And maintenance, coaching, all that is free for life once you hit your goal weight. So here's my text from my friend. I'm on Awaken Maintenance now, lost 29 pounds, 4 inches off my waist, reduced my body and visceral fat like a beast. Great support, great program. I haven't been in the 160s since high school. You want to hit a weight that you haven't hit in decades? That's what I was able to do. Haven't been at 225 in over 30 years. At 6'4", I could pull off 225. You know, whatever your goal weight is, you can reach it with Awaken 180, and once you get there, it is free support for life. 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. Become the next Awaken 180 success story online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today Friday
Is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. Proud to live in Jacksonville.
This is where we live.
Proud to be Jacksonville Sports Radio. We are 1010XL.
Ready to spice up your Wednesday? Head to Players Grill for Wing Wednesday. Enjoy mouth-watering wings for just 75 cents each. Plus, make it a happy hour all day long. Cheers to unbeatable deals and good times. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
Malfunctions in your electrical panel can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8 Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Tired of dealing with clogged drains? What about bad smells coming from your pipes? You need to call Duck Duck Rooter, your plumbing pros in Northeast Florida. Duck Duck Rooter can help with any plumbing issue at your home or business. DuckDuckRooter.com.
In 1956, Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Johnny Cash got together for a very impromptu recording session at Sun Studios in Memphis. 25 years later, the recording was released to the public, dubbed the $1 Million Quartet. The story went on to be a Broadway hit, which you can now see at the Alhambra Theater. Relive the day of the $1 Million Quartet, now on stage through February 17th. Go to alhambrajax.com or call 641-1212.
He's no Johnny-come-lately. He's been the Jags senior writer for a long time.
When it comes to the Jags, oh noes.
Wednesdays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, and I love living here. But I also know how bad bugs are in Florida. So I trust Orange Environmental Services to handle all my pest control needs because they've got the best technicians and effective treatment. Their name may be orange, but they think green. Orange Environmental has been serving the First Coast for over 50 years, and they now offer complete lawn maintenance services. Call Orange Environmental Services for peace of mind from bug problems today. Call them at 272-3284. That's 272-3284.
Start your 2024 off right. Join the Jacksonville Business Journal in partnership with Fifth Third Bank and Franklin Street for the 2024 Economic Outlook, January 24th. It's an afternoon dedicated to the latest information, including national and regional trends impacting our economy. You'll hear updates from Jeff Korzenik, Fifth Third Bank's chief economist, and Tony DeSisto, Franklin Street COO. And you'll have a chance to network with business leaders from our community. Learn more and get tickets at jbjevents.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
If your resolution is to improve your golf game, you'll want to consider Hidden Hills Golf Club's annual range membership. One low price gives you 12 months of unlimited access to our Bermuda Grass Complex. Visit hiddenhillsgc.com.
The Florida sun is burning bright and coastal waters are sparkling. You need a boat. Come to the Jacksonville Boat Show, January 26th, 27th, and 28th at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. Don't miss killer deals on boats and accessories, plus fishing seminars, kids events, music, and fun. The Jacksonville Boat Show, presented by ViStar Credit Union. Tickets at boatjacks.com. That's boatjacks.com. Buy a boat.
I'm just happy to have a roof over my head. You've heard that saying a bunch probably through the years, but what if it leaks? That's never good. Who do you call? How can you be sure they're any good? Who to trust? Well, remember this. Preferred Roofing guarantees to educate and inform their customers on such a big decision as replacing a roof. Let their consultants help you make an informed choice that you're sure to feel good about. Master Elite Certified Contractors, Preferred Roofing is who you need to call. Tell them Joe C. sent you.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Trevor Lawrence has made strides since his rookie year, and now going into year 4, contract talk is already starting for him. Jags reporter Demetrius Harvey spoke on Lawrence's contract and what Jags fans can expect.
Mid-season, you would think absolutely they're going to, but from things that we've heard, it doesn't seem like they're in some sort of panic or rush to do so, and I don't think that they necessarily should be. I mean, yeah, you can maybe get away with paying him a little less money this year compared to what you would pay next year. Say he does have a good season. He has two years left on his deal. They're going to pick up that 5th-year option in May, so you can sort of let this play out for at least one more season, see if what he is or what you think he's going to be is actually going to happen.
I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
For the record, as someone pointed out, thank you very much. Always appreciate the feedback. It's like having thousands of producers.
Yeah,
out there.
eye in the sky, baby.
At a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Tony Khan, his official title is Chief Football Strategy Officer.
Interesting.
What does that mean?
Well, he strategizes something.
But
could be anything.
Is that on-field strategy? I don't think so.
Well, he was an analytics guy, so maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Somewhat, right? I think it's a catch-all that he kind of does whatever the hell
I
he wants.
assume whoever gave him the title knows what they mean by the title, but I don't.
Yeah, right.
Or did Shad go, hey, what do you want to call yourself?
But officer that's C level, so he's up there with the execs, I think.
Well, he's listed under the executive branch.
Yeah. So he's an executive of the organization.
But so is Lisa Abbott, who is we love Lisa, who's been around forever.
Yeah.
Executive assistant to the owner and president.
Yeah.
That's executive level as well. Lisa Abbott's not making any football decisions.
I meant more like COO, CFO.
I understand.
That type of level. So he's up in that area, but whatever,
He's the owner's son. He's got clout.
Look, he knows what he's doing with the wrestling. So I don't know. Maybe he knows how to build his
somebody put what do they say here? Tony Khan. Yes, he runs AEW. We know that. President of Football Operations, Fulham, EVP, blah, blah, blah. Jags and Fulham both underperforming.
Yeah.
All he does is tweet about his muscle boys play fighting. Okay.
Oh, jeez. He does a good job marketing that, but whatever. I was just curious where his role was. And, look, if, you have your GM, you have your owner. I mean, how many teams have a buffer in between? You know what I mean? A VP of operations. You know what I'm saying? That handles, maybe the contracts, like Michael Hugh used to do. Like Koffel was a GM, but Michael Hugh handled all the negotiations and the contracts and all of that.
Right.
So is there a guy like that, or do you need a guy like that? I don't know. Do most teams have a guy like that or a girl like that, person like that? I don't know. You'd think you'd want one, unless you're a football guy, like you just know football.
Right.
I'm sure Jerry Jones doesn't feel like he needs one. He's like, I'm the football guy.
I think Trent Baalke's the one who's doing the contracts with these guys. That's my sense of it. Like John Idzik when he was here was kind of their salary cap guru, so to speak. But I don't think he had final say. Like he would tell you, we can do this. We can say, here's our parameters. But I don't think he had the authority to go, this is what we're offering so-and-so.
Yeah.
It was his job to kind of manage and look ahead for any pitfalls. And, hey, this dead cap's going to catch up with us in a couple of years. We got to do this. We got to do this.
Yeah, I didn't mean it as like a negative. It just the GM focuses on the talent and the kind of person you want to bring into the organization. You know what I mean?
I understand
handle that other stuff. But
I understand.
Whatever. Maybe you don't need that. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't.
All right, let's move off of this for a second and get to the. I thought it was kind of fun. People get very specific about scenarios. Should we do X, Y, Z, and then these 6 other things, and this will solve it? What is the likelihood that the Jags will do that? Well, it's very low that the Jags are going to do this convoluted thing that you laid out exactly the way you laid it out. So if you're asking, it's probably a low chance. But here is it started with, what's the chance that the Jags franchise tag Josh Allen? I'm like, oh, pretty high. Actually,
good.
And the sentence continues, get a trade suitor. Okay. Oh, okay. So, keep in mind, if you franchise tag him and somebody wants to sign him before he signs the tag to a long-term deal, it's 2 first-round picks. It's not unprecedented. It just rarely ever happens in the National Football League. Right. But you can agree to trade a guy for less than that compensation. So in this scenario, okay, they franchise tag Allen, they find a trade suitor, and get a first-round pick and another pick for him. Let's say a 3rd or a 4th, right? First and a mid-round.
Okay.
That'd be a pretty good – in terms of the franchise tag, that's a pretty solid return on what you're likely to get, okay? Yep. Now, the Jags would have to agree to that, so they're not taking the 32nd pick in the draft necessarily and a 6th-round pick, so they can't force it on. Let's say they do. Get a first and a 3rd out of it, okay? So – yeah.
I was just so the team that grabs them, they give up their first. So
yes,
but you do need a team with higher than 17, I would imagine, to get up to the top.
Well, you're jumping ahead here.
I'm sorry,
to do the trade, you can agree to anything. You can agree for a 7th-round pick.
Okay.
But the
logic tells you
You're not going to do it for low compensation, right? So whatever I don't know what the first. It's just a first and another pick. Okay,
got it.
So then they trade Allen for that. Then they package those picks along with the 17th pick to get up for Marvin Harrison Jr. And then what are we going to do at pass rush? We signed Danielle Hunter, right? Who Balky has shown some interest in.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's a fun scenario, but the problem with that is you sit there. There's several problems, right? First of all, who's giving you the first and the whatever, and then giving Allen that kind of money?
Right.
And if it's a high enough pick, why wouldn't they just draft a pass rusher and sign him to a rookie contract? And granted, I guess the reason would be Allen's a proven NFL-level pass rusher.
Yeah.
But if you're a team picking in the top 10, you're probably not Josh Allen away from being a contender.
Right.
And so if you could get the first or second best pass rusher in the draft and pay him over the course of 4 years about what Josh Allen's going to make in one season, that's pretty attractive. So you're probably not getting that high of a pick. Right. So let's say you get the 20th pick. I'm not tying it to a specific team.
Okay.
You get the 20th pick and a mid-third rounder for Josh Allen.
Yep.
17 and 20, and throwing that third is getting you where in the draft?
I don't know.
10?
Yeah,
maybe?
I was going to say, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, right.
It's not getting you to the top 5.
Right.
And that's where Marvin Harrison Jr. is likely to go.
Yeah, no doubt.
Very, very good odds to be the first non-quarterback selected in the draft this year.
How old is Josh going to be next year?
Josh, I think
27? Okay. Prime.
Or he might be 27 right now.
Okay.
Danielle Hunter would be more like 30.
Okay.
I believe.
He's in his prime. Plenty of time.
Yeah,
But
he turned 29 3 months ago.
Danielle Hunter did?
Hunter did, okay.
Okay, so he'll turn 30 during the season coming up. All right, why?
Well, you got to figure
why do they always put
Ridley
the
in that
bad Josh
scenario
Allen
too,
in
right?
here?
You got to figure out Ridley. And then you got to risk
Well,
that
he's
you can get
26
Marvin.
right now.
You're
26?
Yeah.
Josh is, that's prime.
He'll be 27 next season, yeah.
Right. So you're giving up and look, the
Yeah.
problem with that is it's so specific. Could you attempt? First of all, why are you not signing Josh to a long-term deal? You know,
Yeah.
that's the first
I
question you
would.
ask, right? Like,
Yep.
I mean, a lot of the Jag reporters now I'm getting the sense, talking to Ozier, talking to Duraco, that they think the most likely scenario is the franchise tags apply to Josh Allen.
Really?
Well, if that's the most likely scenario, what's the reason behind that? Or
Yeah.
Are you trying to get him to prove it for another year because he's had the one massive year in a contract year? And I'm not saying how anybody should feel about this.
Right.
I'm saying how they might feel about this, right? So that'd be my first question. Why? And okay.
But then are you paying Ridley or just letting him walk?
Regardless.
You know what I mean? Because you can't have 2 tags.
No, right. You would. Well, in that scenario, you're either trying to negotiate something that works to extend him, or he's going to walk. You don't have a choice.
Right.
It's not a matter of letting him walk. You only have, like you said, you have one tag. Right. So Josh Allen's got to be the top priority, right? You've got until March 4th to work out a long-term deal with Josh Allen, or you're going to have to use a franchise tag on him.
Yeah.
That's the deadline. And free agency doesn't start.
Right.
So let's say you went down this road and you decided we're not going to give Josh Allen a long-term deal. We'll franchise tag him. Okay. The specificity of this particular scenario, though, okay, we're going to get these picks and we're going to trade up and get Marvin Harrison Jr. Well, how do you know the team that's in position to take him wouldn't value Marvin Harrison Jr. more than those picks?
That's a risk. A big risk.
It's a huge risk. I mean, you can't assume any.
You can guarantee it. That'd be different, but you can't.
You could say, what if we try to trade Josh Allen for everything we could get and focus our efforts on trying to sign Danielle Hunter or another pass rusher to replace him? And then my question would be, what do you think Danielle Hunter's going to play for?
Yeah.
Like Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, he's going to want money too.
Danielle Hunter may be a few years older.
Yeah.
Danielle Hunter's been way more consistent than Josh Allen in terms of double-digit sack seasons.
Yeah.
So
he's 4 years older though. So that
three.
Makes that 3.
Well, I guess
3-ish. 3 to 4.
Yeah, 3. He'll turn. Josh will turn 27. He'll turn 30.
So it's 3. You're right.
But 30-year-old pass rushers still get paid a lot of money.
No
T.J.
doubt.
Watt's 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's swimming in it. That cash.
No doubt.
My guess is he would get 3 years, something in that mid-60s. My guess is where Hunter would wind up. Yeah,
I would think. Yeah, I could see 3 years, $75 million for Danielle Hunter. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I could see that for Josh Allen as well. By the way,
yeah,
when you factor in the age. So, but the idea of if we tag Allen,
right,
and like the thing about the way this could play out. Let's say you tag Allen, and you're so far apart on what he thinks of compensation. He's like, I'm just going to sit around and wait, and I'm not going to show up for anything, and I'll sign the tag when I'm going to sign the tag. Well, free agency is going to come.
Yeah.
And then maybe you do say, all right, we're not going to sit here and let's see what happens here, and let's go out there. And what's the worst-case scenario? Josh Allen signs the tag, and you sign Danielle Hunter? Is that a terrible scenario? I mean, you got to manage your salary cap, obviously.
No, I
in
know.
all this.
I know. It's not amazing. It's just funny how, when Ridley took the field in camp, and you look on paper right now, if they're all healthy, we got a heck of a receiving core. I mean, Zay Jones is a great receiver when he's healthy.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk utilized in the slot is fantastic. Evan Ingram is elite. You know what I mean? I mean, and here's the thing about Ridley, and I said this last night on my happy hour show. I didn't give him this benefit of the doubt. I'm not trying to give him a trap door here, but look, being out of football for a year and a half, let's see what he does another year. So I personally, I'd pay Josh. I just think I don't know. I know it's a contract year, but I said it during the year. I always feel, and I don't know Josh personally, but I feel like he plays. Everybody wants to get paid, but I feel like he wants to prove, that he is that top pick. I think it's in him. Like, I don't think it's all about I want to get paid and that's it. I think it's I want to, and even if he gets paid, he's going to want to prove that. So I don't know. I'd keep him and Trayvon together. I would tag Ridley. I think we have enough skill. We got skill positions. We do. We need better offensive linemen. We need better guys up front on that interior. So
I would rather sign Josh Allen a long-term deal as well. What if he just wants way more than you're willing to pay? Like, you got to have a number, right?
Of course. It's got to fit.
What if he wants $28 million a year? I mean, Nick Bosa's making over 30.
I think it's the time frame that we're talking about here is what complicates it with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
It's that you'd have to have that all in order, ready to go in basically 5 weeks. Right? Like, you have to have that.
The long-term deal?
Yeah.
Well, I would hope what else the hell are they doing?
Right, but you have to have that knocked down. That's not easy. That's a complicated thing to do, and you don't know that you're going to have that worked out over that time frame. So you have to hold the tag for Josh Allen in case we have to use it.
Well, of course.
Because if we're going to use it, it's going to be on him.
That agent's calling, being like, see what he did? See what he's doing?
You would
Every
hope.
week, that's what they do.
All right, and so let's say they've done none of that. Okay? Today's Friday. Let's spend the weekend and go iron out and find out where you are and where we are, and so we know if we're
compare
within the
Josh
ballpark.
Allen to the other greats. Is he
Well,
Nick?
Hold that thought, because we got a break here. We'll come back. I'm not saying he's Nick Bosa. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not saying you are either. I'm just curious where he falls in the terms of the top pass rushers in the game today.
Well, you know how it is with quarterbacks, right? Next one up. It's similar to, I think it's going to be similar to pass rusher. It's not necessarily the next guy up is going to get the biggest deal, but if I'm Josh Allen, I'm going, wait a minute, 17 and a half sacks. I don't know if I'm playing for $18, $20 million a year. If the top guy's getting over 30, am I that much less than that guy? We'll go through and we'll compare when we come back here in a minute. By the way, Brian Burns out there at like 26 years old as well. So there could be a little bit of a market with defensive ends if he doesn't get tagged this offseason.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
we'll take a time out if you want to get in, be part of the conversation. 641-1010, the easiest way to do it. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Tire Outlet. Is your vehicle in need of a little tender, loving care? Well, if it is, bring it to the experts at Tire Outlet. Certainly, you're going to get the best tires anywhere in Jacksonville. They've got over 40 years of experience, 14 locations for your convenience around the First Coast. You can trust them. They also have certified technicians to do whatever job right that you need to get you in and out in no time flat. Great deals on tires and auto services, free tire rotations, free brake inspections, rebate offers on brand name tires, a legendary price match guarantee on every brand new set of tires. All that happening at Tire Outlet, where you always get wholesale prices and premium service.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go.
Do you know what the secret of life is?
No, what?
One thing. Just one thing.
What's the one thing?
1010XL.
Local 234 Plumbers, Pipe Fitters, and HVAC Technicians is now taking applications for their state-certified apprenticeship program. As an apprentice, you'll receive excellent benefits, higher pay, job placement, and even earn college credit. The 5-year programs include plumbing, pipe fitting, welding, and HVAC. A career as a journeyman means stability and security. For more information, visit ua234.com/apprenticeship. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
Wintertime at the Blue Crab House. You know what that means. Time for oysters. Buy them by the tray, broiled, half shell with Romano cheese, wine topping, or fried. And of course, each and every Wednesday, $1 oysters at the Blue Crab House. Serving Northeast Florida since 1996. Make reservations by calling 260-CRAB. Jacksonville's best, the Blue Crab House, off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people. Pick it here, the Borland Groover Foundation proudly presents the annual March to Get Screened 5K race and 1 mile fun run. Sunday, April 14th, the race starts at 7 a.m. under the Fuller Warren Bridge. Their mission, raise awareness about colorectal cancer and related deaths. All proceeds benefit the Borland Groover Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From roll and lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Now, the Florida State Seminole Report. Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team.
Number 15 Florida State women's basketball faces 25th ranked Syracuse Thursday night at 7. The Seminoles were the biggest riser in this week's AP Top 25 poll, moving up 6 spots following back-to-back ranked wins at home over number 20 North Carolina and number 11 Virginia Tech. FSU is looking for their first 6-1 start to ACC play since the 2017-2018 season. I'm RJ Saunders with your Ag Pro. Seminole Report.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJax.com. Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Start your new year off healthy and get screened at Ackerman Cancer Center with on-site imaging, including whole-body MRI, PET and CT scans, and mammography. Early detection is key. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. The Gator men's basketball team is on the road against Missouri on Saturday afternoon. Head coach Todd Golden is emphasizing ball protection.
Anytime you go on the road, got to take care of the ball. I think, our guys have a great understanding, especially after last week, how important it is.
Hear the game live on 1010XL. Pregame starts at 7:30 tomorrow. Former UNF president and former Jacksonville Mayor John Delaney and current JU President Tom Koss will be inducted this week into their school's Hall of Fame. The UNF class will be formally inducted Friday in ceremonies that begin at 6 p.m. at the Delaney Student Center. The JU class will be inducted at noon Saturday at the Terry Concert Hall. The Jacksonville Icemen have back-to-back road games. They face the Atlanta Gladiators this evening and will square off against the Greenville Swamp Rabbits tomorrow evening. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
At 11:03, it's 59 degrees. Time and Center brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
All right, taking a look at the relative value of Josh Allen here in Jacksonville compared to some of the other top edge rushers, not only, defensive ends, outside linebackers, right? Yep. Let me bring up the sack leaders. And we understand that's not the only stat.
But you know who the top
matters
guys are when you name them.
Individual sack leaders. Come on. Why is this so difficult sometimes?
Why don't you go by contract?
We're going to, but I want to have their numbers so I can say this guy did this and that guy did that. Let me go to Pro Football Reference and dig that up. Anyway, you're saying let's kind of compare.
Yeah, just where if you said Josh Allen is not as good as this guy, but because that's what players and agents do, right? They sit there and be like, okay, who's the highest paid? It's this guy.
Absolutely.
Who's the middle of the road, and where do I fit? Am I as good as him? Am I better than him? Well, let's put the stats out. Let's just talk. You know what I mean? And then you find that. Hopefully, you find that common ground. The problem is if the player and agent have a higher value than the team. You know what I mean? That's where the rubber meets the road. The team might be like, nah, we see him more at this number. And the player and agent's like, well, no, that's wrong. I'm better than that guy, and I should be higher than that guy. So that's, can they get it done in the time frame, I guess, is the question.
All right, let's start here. Nick Bosa, Josh Allen, who should make more money?
Nick's a top player. He's one of the
I would agree. Nick Bosa makes $34 million on average.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay.
I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying that's the high watermark.
That's the high.
And that's the contract he signed right at the beginning of this season, through training camp.
He's
basically,
phenomenal.
he signed that contract this year.
All right, so T.J. Watt or Josh Allen?
T.J.
Okay, he's making $28 million a year.
Okay. I don't think far off, but I
that's
still
a
take
big
T.J.
drop.
Between Bosa and Watt?
Yeah, right.
34 to 28.
Yeah, Bosa got Bosa's agent should be congratulated.
Yeah.
Right. What about the other Bosa, Joey Bosa or Josh Allen?
He's just hurt all the time.
All the time,
Yeah.
right? He's making He got on average $27 million a year.
Yeah.
Is Josh Allen as good as Joey Bosa? I think he is.
When healthy.
Yeah, I think they're comparable.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you disagree?
A healthy Joey Bosa, I'd probably give the edge to as more of an all-over. And Josh is good against the run. They play a little different. He's more of a D-end. You know what I mean? But
and I'm jumping back and forth.
No, I know.
By the way, between the outside linebacker and defensive end lists,
It's a good one-on-one.
They're all the main pass rush guys. Myles Garrett, better player all around.
When did he sign his deal?
I'm not sure. He's on a 5-year, $125 million deal, right?
I
He's
think
making
Pac
$25
was
million
right,
on
couple
average.
years,
He signed that in 2020.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, this is like the last year of his deal. So
that's why he's at
right.
25.
His
'Cause
next one,
he should be near Bosa.
He'll get over 30.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we start getting to guys. We're like, all right, you can make an argument, even Joey Bosa, that they're all better than Josh Allen. So he shouldn't make more than $25 million a year. Well, what about Montez Sweat?
Yep.
Josh Allen or Montez Sweat?
Josh.
Okay. Montez Sweat's making 24.5 on average.
Yep. Okay.
So he's right there in Myles Garrett territory.
Right.
Okay. What about?
But Myles signed his 2020. So
regardless, I'm just saying for where Josh Allen's comparing to, here are the top paid players that do what I do.
Right.
Okay, his agent and Rashawn Gary. We've gone over this one a bunch.
Yep.
$24 million a year.
Josh is better than him.
He's never had more than 9 sacks in a season.
Yep.
He just had 9 this year, second time, but he's never had 10.
Yep.
And Allen just basically doubled his output this year. Okay, he's making $24 million a year. So if I'm Josh Allen, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Montez Sweat and Rashawn Gary, the most recent ones here, happened during the year. They're both making 24 or 24.5.
Yep.
At this stage, Khalil Mack or Josh Allen?
Josh
might be comparable, but Josh is
Khalil
a lot
had a
younger.
great year this year.
He did. He had a 6-sack game too.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Right,
That's right.
and that kind of skewed the numbers a little bit. He's also 32, almost 33 years old.
Yeah, given not
so
by age, but they're comparable.
Would you not pay Josh Allen more than Khalil Mack right
What's
now?
he
Like
at?
if you're going to sign him right now,
Yeah.
who would you give more money to? I'd give it to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I would too.
7 years difference,
Yeah.
or nearly 7 years. Bradley Chubb of the Dolphins.
No, I'd take Josh.
I would. Bradley
like
Chubb had
him,
like
though.
11. He had a good year.
Yeah, he's a good
he's making $22 million.
Yeah.
Right. So the point is, the franchise tag is supposed to be around $22 million, something like that, in that ballpark. I may be off $1 million either way. I'm just going on estimates. If you're the Jags and you're like, that seems like a fair number. He's only he had a breakout season, but it's only. The last 3 before that, he didn't hit 10 sacks. So is he this guy? Is he that guy? Is he a combination? Let's wait and see. If I'm Josh Allen, I'm like, well, wait a minute now. Montez Sweat and Rashawn Gary, come on.
Right.
Like they're making 24, 25 million bucks.
Yeah, yeah.
I should be getting 27, 28.
I think so.
I think the timing of the deal is going to affect a lot of this. Nick Bosa getting 34 a year, signing it before this season started, and the next guy getting 28, I think that is massive.
Yeah, $6
right?
million.
And it's about the timing of when Bosa was coming up for the deal. They anticipated all this money that's going to be coming in. He's going to be worth this. We're setting the market with Nick Bosa. I think the gap of $6 million there goes away this year. I think Josh Allen likely winds up somewhere in that gap, and that then the Steelers have to figure out what are we going to do with an extension with T.J. Watt, and the Browns have to figure out what are we going to do with an extension with Myles Garrett. I think that's how these contracts generally work out. I think, yes, that if you look at them compared to where the numbers are now, but Josh Allen is way better than Rashawn Gary. Right? Like he has way more value than 24. I'm not saying you put him at 34, but I think he's somewhere between like that 27, 28, and 34 is where Josh Allen is ultimately going to land.
But if you're the Jags, you go, is he better than T.J. Watt? I would argue
I would
T.J.
say,
Watt's been better.
Right. If I'm coming back as Josh Allen's representation, I would say he's worth what he's worth right now.
I understand what that side will say, but if you're the Jags front office, are you saying I'm going to pay him more than T.J. Watt? I don't know if you are. And
I would.
Okay.
I don't know if they will. I would because T.J. Watt's going to get that extension next year anyway.
I don't think there's any chance the Jags are giving Josh Allen 30
How much of a concern is it that Josh doesn't continue to play like he did this year, and he goes back more towards what he was
being
before.
good but not great.
Being good but not great. Now I'm not you can't expect 17. I mean, you know. But is he going to be?
Do you expect that out of Watt when he's healthy? I do.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can expect that if you're paying him $28 million, you better damn well expect that.
Like, look, I know the sacks they're great, but for me this year, Josh Allen seemed to be in the backfield all year long. I don't recall a game where he disappeared. He did years before. He'd have great games, and then you wouldn't hear his name the next game or whatever. But that wasn't this year. So because the reason I asked that, because that question is being asked in the front office. You know, hey, if we're going to pay Josh Allen $30 million, let's just say that. Are we concerned at all that, he's going to
I think that's you have to ask that as a front office.
I don't think I am. I think his
I'm
motor
not either.
I think his motor's genuine.
But if you don't ask the question, and
that's how you
that's your
negotiate
answer.
these things.
No
They'd
doubt.
be irresponsible not to have those questions in their
Right.
head when they're doing it. Ultimately, I land on Josh Allen showed us who he is this year. That's what I think happened. I think he showed us who he is this year, and he's worth it.
Yeah. Now, here's another thing. I don't want to say burned, but the guys, remember last year who they redid? Well, it was based on how they finished last year. We expected them to be that this year. They weren't that this year, not even close, right? So does that make them, feel like a little cautious in Josh Allen? You know what I mean? Just for that mere fact. I don't know.
Part of this conversation, people have hit us up when we ask about Josh Allen and what he should get, and with the reply, anything he wants, whatever he wants, doesn't matter. Well, okay, what if he wants to be the highest paid player at his position?
Right.
That's crazy. Well, then you're not going to give him anything he wants necessarily, right? Like, so what? You got to have a line. What is your line?
Right.
And if I'm the team, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, okay?
Right.
Here's T.J. Watt since 2018. 13 sacks, 14 and a half sacks, 15 sacks, 22 and a half sacks. Then he had an injury-plagued year where he went down to 5.5, only played 10 games, bounced back with 19 this year. 3 of the last 4 years, he has led the league in sacks. He's making 28.
He's underpaid.
He may be, and maybe that's the answer. He may be underpaid.
Because he signed the deal in 2021.
Yeah.
Right, and
So
that's what
another
Myles
thing.
Garrett's getting 25 a year because he signed his deal in 2020.
Yeah.
Right,
So
it's not
you have
that
to
these
factor
guys
that in, I think.
Right,
Like,
it's
what
not
would
that
it be
these
today?
guys wouldn't be getting 35.
Right.
If they were doing their deal this year, I think they would. So I think Josh Allen say you make him 30.
Right.
I think next year we'd be looking at saying, "Oh, he's the 5th highest paid edge guy."
Maybe
I
so.
don't think he stays there.
Well, look, if you're T.J. Watt, aren't you saying, hey, I want Bosa money?
Absolutely.
Oh, if you're Myles Garrett, aren't you saying, I want close to Bosa money?
He's a free agent
You know what I
after
mean?
the 2025
I mean, I
season.
would.
They got to figure that out sooner rather than later.
But he's
again.
also injured, right? Got hurt.
He is.
Right?
Yeah,
and missed 7 games last year due to injury.
Yeah.
And he is
This year was a freak. Yeah. That sucks.
Well, I'm just saying,
I know.
he's going to be 30 in October
Yeah.
as well. And again, T.J. Watt's still great. He's led the league 3 of the last 4 years in sacks.
So, Josh Allen, his representation, they have every right. I mean, I don't mean every right, but they're probably coming in at 30.
At least 28, I would
Right,
say.
you would think.
Like
Like, I would.
If
I'd be like, hey,
Sweat and Gary
we just laid it out.
got
Here it is.
24 to
Right.
25,
Right. Yep.
I'm better than those guys.
Yep.
The market is moving. If
Yep.
T.J. Watt was on the open market right now, he'd be worth 38. Or what? That, they can say that. Because, look, Daniel Jones makes 40 as a quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Right off of one decent year.
Right.
And
No, right,
we're like,
you're right,
well,
yeah.
that's the going rate. Well, this is becoming the going rate for an elite pass rusher.
I asked you this off air, but what do you think? Is there any thought process of them thinking that Trayvon can take over the lead role of Josh Allen? Now we still need another guy.
I can't speak for what their thought process is, but I would hope
that
to
is
God
that
it's not.
is Balky's pick. Is he the guy? Like, hey guys, you know what? I love Josh. He's great, but Trayvon's going to
That
be
would
better
be
than him, and we need
lunacy.
to put him in the.
That would be
driver's
lunacy
seat.
to me. You know, somebody yesterday.
I agree. I'm just
Dave Weidel, your former co-host,
Yeah.
right? We at the cut. We played it yesterday. He I think it was on Into the Night with Rick Ballou, and
Okay.
he basically
Cool.
said that. First of all, he said Josh Allen had 16 sacks. No, he had 17 and a half. But he said a third of those were when he was completely unblocked. We looked yesterday. There were a couple of occasions where, he probably was unblocked.
He chased 2 out of bounds, but still,
right.
there's sacks.
There's right,
I mean, he's
and
hustling.
and I bet if we broke down all of T.J. Watt's sacks, he'd probably benefit from a few
yeah.
like that as well,
Yes,
right?
of course.
So I think just eyeball test. Trayvon Walker had a lot more of that. Not coasting, but benefiting from Josh Allen's pressure than vice versa, right?
They definitely help each
like
other.
later in the play, here's Trayvon to finish it off, and had some pressure forced. And look, he had 10 sacks. Great, that's fantastic,
Yep.
right? A good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But I hope they would not
I'm
say
just
that that's
asking
the centerpiece.
I'll say
of the
this
pass
about
rush.
Josh. We said it all. I mean, some of his rushes were things of beauty.
Yeah.
Perfect dip, right around the corner, knocking the ball out of the QB's hands. I mean, we just sitting there like, wow, that You can tell he's worked on his craft. He's worked on his rush.
And here's the other thing too, Tom, and we know this, right? It's not. I don't care what he makes, and because invariably we'll get. What do you care about another man's money? I don't. I care about.
Oh, right.
Do they have enough resources to put a championship caliber team on the field? And if if you give $30 million to this guy, that may be $10 million less you have to give somewhere else, or whatever the case.
Listen, we're having the same conversations that they're having downtown at this stadium.
You would think.
Similar, anyway.
The one benefit, or one of the benefits to the long-term deal, is you can structure it that his cap hit in the first year is way less than that franchise tags, right? So you can take a $10 million or a $15 million cap hit, which is still significant, but it's not 22 or 23, and actually save money and have him for the long haul. That's what I hope happens. I'm getting the sense from the folks that are down there frequently that franchise tag is the route that's going to go. And you could see, like, even if they're like 25, that's what we're willing to pay you. That's a bunch of money, and maybe he wants, like you said, maybe he wants both some money.
In those guys' scenario, what happens to Ridley? Is he just, if he doesn't, they can't figure it out, they let him walk? He's out?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have any control over it.
Risk letting him walk at least.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can't let Josh Allen walk.
No, I agree.
You can't.
With that.
So
no, you can't.
if they tag him, then you have to look.
Figure out
I would hope by the time late February rolls around, we're still, a full month away. February 20th is when you can start applying the franchise tag. Today's January 19th.
Right.
You got a full month.
Yep.
Talk to Ridley's representation. What kind of money are you looking for? What would it take to preempt you going to free agency and signing an extension with us, or barring that, because that may then trigger the second-round pick. When you get the free agency, we'll let you look and come back, and if the money's comparable, but, like, Ridley's never had the big payday.
Right.
This is rookie deal he just finished.
Yeah.
He played on his fifth-year option this year.
Right.
So, I mean, it's in real world, it's good money. In NFL world, he has not hit the jackpot.
Right. I wouldn't pay him the jackpot yet.
But is there a team that might?
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
If let's say T. Higgins goes back to Cincy and Mike Evans goes back to Tampa.
Right.
Ridley is about as attractive as any free agent wide receiver out there.
Yeah.
So all it takes is one team to go, I'm willing to pay him
it's
whatever.
It's just crazy to me. He went from a year to, like, this guy's everything to, like, he could maybe leave. You know what I mean? After giving all that capital.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's
what have you done for me
It's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more on the Jags and taking a look ahead to the divisional round. We'll give you our predictions before we're done today as well on this weekend's quartet of games. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. How can you describe Lauren Brooks?
At 16, she won the gold, turned pro, and was named one of Barbara Walters' most fascinating persons of 1994.
Lauren Brooks, afternoons with Frank Frangie and Hayes Carline.
You like strong women. I've done my homework.
On 1010XL.
If you have had problems selling your home or haven't even bothered selling because of the problems that you would expect, here's a promise for you. Chad and Sandy of chadandsandy.com guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Simple as that, right? So if maybe you are worried about selling for less money, or maybe you want maximum equity from your home but not sure how, they have the answers, the solutions, the promises to take care of all that. Take it from Debbie in Orange Park. I was going through a divorce and needed to be close to family quickly. I was going to sell my home to an instant offer investor for $375, but I heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and decided to call. Thank goodness. Chad and Sandy got me $45,000 more in just 3 days. Call the only agents we're trusting and recommending. Call Chad and Sandy at chadandsandy.com. The number is 904-414-6200, or you can go to chadandsandy.com. That's chadandsandy.com.
People ask me sometimes, is it really cooler with Bueller? You see, here at Bueller, we really believe in creating an awesome work environment, and we treat our employees like gold. In return, we ask them to treat our customers that same way. It's our simple recipe for outstanding customer service. I'm Jason Bueller. If you want to experience the Stay Cooler with Bueller level of service, give us a call today or visit BuellerAir.com.
Bueller Air, stay cooler with Bueller.
Lauren Brooks here from Mayport CNC Fisheries. Want the freshest seafood in town?
from mahi to tuna to scallops to oysters. Mayport CNC Fisheries is in Atlantic Beach. Do what I did. Go enjoy Mayport CNC Fisheries.
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight? Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher, and we grind and make sausage in-house every day.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Taking you to tally with a Seminole Report.
Follow the Seminole Ballers as they work on their moves. I'm RJ Saunders, and I'll give you a glance as they step towards the hoop and the big dance.
Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team on 1010XL.
Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying. They can also signal a major problem or electrical emergency. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
8 Sparky. Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us, but for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401ks, but I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners, always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're gonna love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Come buy a boat at the Jacksonville Boat Show, January 26th, 27th, and 28th at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. See the latest models, browse accessories, and much more, presented by ViStar Credit Union. Tickets at boatjacks.com. Buy a boat.
Hey folks, Hicken here. Now that your kids and grandkids have gone home and the decorations are coming down, I bet you can see it's time to get those carpets and sofas cleaned. I'm telling you, give Zero Res a try if you haven't already. They clean the carpets, the sofa, the chairs, the area rugs, and even the tile and grout. Google them. More than 5,000 five-star customer reviews. And right now, 20% off carpet cleanings, 20% off upholstery. Zero Res. You spell it forward, you spell it backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's number 55.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Look, none of us here are capologists, right? But you can just see what the market bears for players. And we have our feeling, like all of you out there in the audience, if you follow the league, you know, all right, Nick Bosa, he deserves to make more. Yeah. But does Montez Sweat deserve to make more? Does Rashawn Gary deserve to make more? Somebody on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures said, I pay him $88 million over 4 years, $60 guaranteed. He'd laugh and walk out of the room.
That's 22 a year. That's way light.
He's taken $2 million less than a guy who's never had 10 sacks in a season. Not going to do it.
Your low bar is 26.
Well, if the franchise tag is 22, 23,
right?
I mean, that's the starting point right there. You know, for him.
And is it going to go? Have they already announced the tag numbers?
We don't know.
So maybe it even goes
these
up?
are estimates, right?
Okay,
like,
I got you.
Different sites project what they expect the cap to be and all that.
Yep.
Somebody made this point or asked this question: how much does the location market and the state tax liability come into play? For example, San Fran versus Jacksonville. Forget location market, because I don't know if Josh Allen in any market is getting a bunch of national endorsements. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good pass rusher, but there are a handful of those guys that do. as pass rushers.
He's not
too
getting
many.
a Ritz cracker commercial. I'll tell you that much.
Correct. That's because that guy's a quarterback, right? So we just calculated Nick Bosa's deal, $34 million.
Yeah.
Let's say you're only paying the California tax burden
when you play in California.
Correct. Yep. So to make it easy, we'll say half the season, like 8 games. Yep. We'll call it $17 million that he's making there on average, right? So 1 year he'll play 8 games, 1 year he'll play 9.
Yeah.
The top tax bracket for state income tax in California is going up this year to 14.4%. Okay, I'm imagining he's in the top tax bracket.
I would.
Right? I think that's probably pretty safe.
I would assume.
The guess. Josh Allen pays 0 state income tax if he signs with the Jags.
Right.
Nick Bosa, and again, this is not perfect because this is for 2024, but Nick Bosa's tax burden, just his state tax burden on playing half his games in California is almost $2.5 million.
Yeah.
So you take that 34, now that 34 becomes 31.5.
Yeah.
Right? And if I'm the Jags, and I think that's fair, you say, look, okay, yeah, he's got 34, but effectively it's 31.5 because here's what he's paying out in taxes that you won't be. So now that top number does come down. I think that's fair.
I think it is too. I think that I mean I never even thought of that. Obviously, I was never a big money guy like that. But yeah, that should come into the negotiations if you're the Jags.
Sure,
I'd use it without a doubt. I mean, what's your net? Right, based off of taxes, what's your net? That's what your highest paid player is. It's not gross. I mean, it's for business too. Like, great, your revenues are great. What's your net?
Yeah.
What's your profit?
Right.
You know,
revenues. Revenues are great, and we're spending it all.
Yeah,
all
right. That doesn't, mean that much.
These two came back to back. Okay. I'm with Tony. Josh will get T.J. Watt-like money. The Jags won't let him walk. They have to keep great players, so we can't keep going back to square one. Okay, that's one. The very next one that comes in, if Josh Allen expects T.J. Watt money, he's delusional and not the team player I thought he was. See, my issue with that is he doesn't have to be a team player when it comes to his Josh Allen doesn't have to leave money on the table for Trent Baalke to mismanage with somebody else.
Right. And we got plenty of room in the cap, don't we? It's going up $50 million too or something like that? Or
we don't know.
Oh, we don't know.
We don't know exactly what it'll be,
right.
but it's going to keep going up.
It's always going up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
there's no team discounts.
I would, if somebody asked me to take that, I'd say, well, have you spent all your money wisely? Like, what about this guy you're overpaying? This guy you're overpaying. This guy you're overpaying. Like, so if I saved you $10 million a year, who's to say you wouldn't squander that on a bad player? So I'm not giving you any kind of. There's no.
No, he's got to get his max value. He deserves it.
All of us sitting here thinking anyone in the world would turn down $88 million over the next 4 years. It's hard to fathom because we're not
in that
position.
You're not in that market.
We're just not there. We're
Right. Take it to your own line of profession. If you're doing the same job or better than somebody that's making more money than you, what are you going to say? I deserve more money.
Yes.
That may be $120,000. I don't know, but it's a ton of money to you.
When I was young, man, I used to think if I could make like $30,000 a year, I'd be, oh my God, $30,000 a year?
Right, exactly.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'd be
Man, $100 a month in college was incredible.
It was amazing, right? So you're and it should change, right? But anyway, I'm not jealous of Josh Allen. Good for him.
No,
if he can get $30 million, if the Jags can make it work and field a competitive team, give him whatever you want to give him.
Right.
But
if him being paid that kind of money bothers you, then just stop paying attention to contracts for players. Like, you're not going to be anything but bothered. Yeah. The money's just going to keep going up and up and up. And if a guy that's getting paid by your team is a big number, you're like, whoa. It's like, okay, like you can choose to keep getting bothered by what NFL athletes are going to be paid, or you can just accept the reality that the money's going to keep getting bigger.
It's the market. Go back to your Daniel Jones example. No, they didn't pay him anywhere near the other, like Lamar or anything, because he's not that player. They paid him a ton of money, no doubt, but comparative. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean,
still a ton of
I know.
money. Right. And that's
the market.
Right. You're almost now in the NFL, I feel like either you get a quarterback that you're willing to pay $50 million plus to, or you get a quarterback that maybe you pay like $20 million to and hope that like a Baker Mayfield kind of situation. Like I don't even know what Baker's making this year.
I don't know.
But like I'm not dropping $50 million on Baker Mayfield, even if he wins this week.
No.
You know? And the great irony of Baker perhaps or at least playing to go to a championship game while Deshaun Watson is
$4 million this
collecting
year for Baker.
$4 million. Obviously, Baker was a tremendous bargain, and that was phenomenal. Like, if I'm the Bucs and Baker wants to sign like a 3-year, $100 million deal, I don't think that's out of
$30 million a year.
That's 33 a year, right?
Yeah.
That's probably reasonable.
It just shows you how much money the owners have. They have so much money.
They really do.
They have and it keeps getting bigger and bigger.
And
bigger.
nobody's saying this to begrudge Josh Allen. Get every penny you can, but I want Josh Allen here, but I also want the Jags to have the wherewithal to be competitive and to have the ability to go out there and at least pursue other free agents, you know? And if you want Ridley back, you know?
Right. So just for the more team-like deals, or when you go to Foyer and say, hey, Foyer, let's restructure this big deal. We'll give you more money up front. You get
I
nice.
think they did that with everyone they could last offseason.
Yeah, so they can't
just
do that.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can they do
they
that
did
with
it
him
with
or
a lot
no?
of guys.
Can they do that with him or no? Because he's got a high number.
Did they?
I thought they did.
Oh, I thought he's got like a high cap number, like 20-something, 21 or
I think
20.
he does.
Yeah.
But that's probably why, because you push every time you do that.
Right.
You push money into the future.
That's right.
You know, and
he deserves. I saw somebody
get
rid of him. Like, no, don't get rid of him. He's one of our better defensive players.
Here's the thing with Josh Allen too. All right, with the bump next year, if you tag him again next year, it's going to go up. Okay, if you tag Josh Allen for the next 2 years, you're probably saving a good bit of money on what you'd be paying on an average for like a 5-year deal. Now the thing is, after 2 years, you're probably looking to move on. You'd have, because he's going to be a free agent. But I mean, it's a way to do it. Like, I'd love for Josh Allen to be on a 5-year deal where, at least for the next 3 to 4 years, you're going to have him here, and then maybe you renegotiate the deal, whatever. But I don't, from a business standpoint, I can understand, we could get you for 22, 23 for this year, and if you do it again, we can tag you again and get you maybe for 26 the next year, and that's still a better deal than some of these contracts that are being given out right now. You know?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, they just got to find the right value and hopefully find some common ground. It's good for the team's cap situation. It's good for Josh. Everybody's happy, and we rock and roll. But I wish it was that easy.
Right.
Never is that easy. But, look, you got to, again, you always go back to the play. The player will sit there and compare, and as long as he's realistic into that comparison, they'll find the common ground. You know what I mean? And the market does move. I mean, look, I wouldn't take 25 if I was Josh. If they said, Josh, 5 years, $125 million right now, you're set for life, I'd probably be like, nah. I mean, I love that. That's great. But how about 5 years, $140 million?
Yeah.
Or $150 million?
I might consider, I don't know, 25 is an interesting number because he hasn't done it at that level year over year over year, right? But he's certainly done it more than some of the guys who just got paid. Not the Watts and the Bosas. We're talking about the Garys and the Sweats of the world. Market value for Josh Allen, according to Spot Track, these things are what they are.
Inexact, but yes.
Inexact at best, right? $23.9 million per year. 5-year, basically a 5-year, $120 million deal. $24 million a year. Is he taking that?
I don't know.
After Gary
Maybe,
got 4 years, 96, 24 a year, and he's never had more than 9 sacks? Probably not. I'm probably not. So you understand, if that's the case, I understand what the market bears.
Okay.
But the Jags have the franchise
it does
tag as a
come down
tool.
to guaranteed money too, right? I mean, that's a big factor in
Sure.
everything, right? So I don't know where the other guys are at in guaranteed money, but that may be, one of the bargaining points for Josh.
By the way, TJ Watt's been in this deal for a while.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He signed it. He was 26 when he signed his current deal. Right? Which is where Josh Allen is right now.
Right.
And now he's turning 30 this year.
Yep.
Rashawn Gary was 25 this year when he signed his deal. Okay. Josh is 26.
What did Rashawn get guaranteed? Like 60, 50, something like that?
Not sure.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find that.
Curious.
But 4 years, 96.
34.6.
That's it?
34.6
for the guaranteed?
Yep.
I mean, that's a pretty good.
That's a bargain.
That's a bargain.
I mean, if he turns out to be a hell of a player, it's really a bargain.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bargain in terms of the percentage of guaranteed money.
Yeah,
I
right,
think
right.
whether $24 million a year is a bargain for Rashawn Gary.
Right.
He's been a guy who's had a bunch of injury issues as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Let's run through these divisional playoff games, see who we like this weekend. I'd like to see the Jags playing. That'd be who we really like. But we'll get to that and take a look at today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. All that and more coming your way. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. A little cool weather. Never complaining when it's nice outside like that, but sometimes you need a little warm food in your belly. Dandy's got some terrific options for on the go. You can pop them in the microwave. You headed to the gate station. They've got that right there convenient for you. How about a hot roast beef and provolone? Sounds delicious, right? Or an Italian combo that'll melt in your mouth. An all white meat spicy buffalo chicken. If all that's a little too hot for you, how about the classic big old juicy 100% beef cheeseburger? All these served on fresh ciabatta bread, which is baked locally, delivered daily, as you'd expect from the folks that bring you fresh and never frozen goodness all over Jacksonville. So swing into a gate station, fill up the tank, but fill up your belly with some outstanding offerings from Danny, whether it's light fare like fruit cups or veggie trays, all the way up to that classic cheeseburger and anything else in between. Food on the go in Duval, Danny is the name to know. So do what I do when you're hungry. Go out and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. 1010XL is your home for Jacksonville University basketball.
It's back-to-back games at historic Swisher Gym, JU and Kennesaw State, Saturday at 3 on 1010XL.
Cold out there now? You want it warm and cozy inside, but is your home heating system safe to use regularly? Let Bold City Heating and Air perform a winter system checkup now for only $49. The Bold City team will optimize and revitalize your heating system so it's running safe and at peak efficiency. Don't waste hundreds by running your system poorly. Schedule a winter system checkup with BoldCityAC.com. Just $49 for peace of mind. Visit BoldCityAC.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I know Honda, they're so cool on the road and off the road, but guess what? Tell them about them being on the water.
There is an all-new Honda boat coming out. We went out and partnered with Scout, who's been making the finest holes in the business for years. They're fuel-efficient, dynamic, and class-leading.
So Honda is in the boat business, and you will see boats coming to Cycles of Jacksonville soon.
We will have them in the spring, ready to go.
CyclesofJacksonville.com. Keep track of all of it. Find them on Atlantic near Regency.
Happy New Year, taco lovers. Don here from Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach. Football season is wrapping up, but Taco Lou is still cranking out the tacos. If your New Year's resolution is to get back in the gym, remember you can keep the workout going with a taco in each hand, or a taco in one hand and a cold Dos Equis or margarita in the other. It's practically my entire exercise regimen. Well, maybe all of it. Anyway, come in, relax, and be ready for a great year. Happy New Year from all of us at Taco Lou.
Well, hello there. Join me at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino to celebrate a new era in gaming with live craps, roulette, and sports betting now available to go along with the biggest selection of slots in South Florida. Plus, all your other favorite table games. Complement your night with my award-winning fine dining and casual fare options, lively bars and lounges, or catch your favorite A-list entertainer at Hard Rock Live. Discover your rhythm today. Go to hardrockholly.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Don't just watch the position, learn the position.
Denny Thompson is the quarterback whisperer, and he knows.
We invite you into the lab so that you can truly learn the quarterback position.
Friday mornings on The Drill, brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security,
Register Sausage,
and George Moore Chevrolet.
How far is it from the surface of the earth to the core of the earth?
Is your home your most valuable asset? It is for most of us, and Southern Oak Insurance recommends an annual review. Log on to southernoak.com for more information.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
From the surface to the core of the earth is about 1,800 miles and has a temperature of over 9,000 degrees, hotter than the sun.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hey, this is David here with Royal Pest Services. Do you have that room in the house that is just too cold in the winter and just too hot in the summer? To learn about our pest-rated insulation, visit RoyalPestServices.com or call 886-2847.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them.
I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Bank in the 2023 Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards, and it's easy to see why. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the new Durbin location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Golfers, when's the last time you played Cimarron? New ownership, improved greens, fairways, and tee boxes, a new clubhouse, interior, exterior, including the Stone and Barrel Tap House, indoor-outdoor bar, live music. Practice, learn, and play program is only $59 a month. Unlimited range balls, weekly clinic from teaching professionals. Golf every day, $25 after 2 o'clock. Whether you scratch or just like getting out with your buddies, you have to try the new Cimarron Golf Club on 210.
This is Hayes Carline for SkyLife Elite. Are you tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers? Call my friends at SkyLife Elite. Consider using private charter flights for your next adventure. Yes, you can afford it. Make your own schedule. Fly direct. Drive your car to Craig Airport and get directly on the plane. SkyLife Elite can make that happen. Call 490-9332, go to flyskylife.com, and find them on social media. Fly SkyLife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
This is Dr. James Perry, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
With contract season approaching, it is still unclear what the future holds for some key players. With Josh Allen and Calvin Ridley being the headlines of this contract cycle, ESPN's Mike DiRocco gave his insight on what the Jags may do.
I expect Josh Allen to get the franchise tag.
Okay. That eliminates number one.
Right. The deal is going to... Calvin Ridley said in the locker room afterwards that money is going to matter to him.
Sure.
As it should. So let's not kill the kid for that. They want him back, but my gut feel, my guess right now is that he walks. He signs somewhere else.
ESPN's Mike DiRocco from Jaguars Today. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. You're Mackin' with Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
All right, all kinds of opinions and discussion on what they should do with Josh Allen on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. And look, getting more and more of a sense that I could see why Allen's going to want a lot more than the Jags might be willing to offer, at least at the moment. I get it. Guaranteed money factors in, and Doom pointed out, hey, you got to factor in the London tax.
Yeah.
Things. We're just trying to – it's a quick example. Like when you play in California, you're going to pay a lot of your burden.
It's a part of the negotiation.
Right. And you know, you can do the whole thing. You can do Bosa's entire schedule and go, this is what he paid in taxes this year. This is what you're going to pay in taxes this year. And that, therefore, you know, it's reasonable to think that the gap is not as big, whatever the case. So before we get to our look at the divisional games, let's see if other teams are having issues like we are around the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Well, here is the schedule for the divisional round of the playoffs this weekend. It'll start Saturday at 4:30, Houston at Baltimore on ABC and ESPN. Then Saturday night, Green Bay at San Francisco, 8:15 on Fox. Sunday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be in Detroit, 3 o'clock on NBC. The weekend will wrap up with Kansas City at Buffalo, 6:30 on CBS. Houston has ruled out defensive end Jerry Hughes for their game tomorrow. The Baltimore Ravens have signed running back Dalvin Cook to their active roster and said that he will make his Ravens debut this week against the Houston Texans. Quarterback Marlon Humphrey did not practice Thursday due to a calf injury, and the team has still not activated tight end Mark Andrews or wide receiver Devin Duvernay from their injured reserve list for Saturday, though both are expected to at least have a chance to play. in their divisional round game. Buffalo wide receiver Gabe Davis missed practice again on Thursday with a knee injury. He's not been able to practice so far at all this week, and the city of Indianapolis and the NFL have come to an agreement that will keep the NFL Combine in the city through at least the 2025 event.
All right, thank you, Tony. This one last one before we get to these games. Don't forget about deferring some or all of the money until after he retires, like Shohei Ohtani. Completely different scenario. First, there's no salary cap in baseball. You can pay the guy $8 billion and say you're going to pay it in the year 3,000.
They're just trying to stay under luxury tax stuff.
Right, but they
can.
don't have to be below the luxury tax. And Ohtani, I would imagine, makes tens of millions in endorsements between here and Japan. Josh Allen's not getting that kind of surplus income.
I see Ohtani on stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's the face of baseball right now. And
and I imagine back in Japan he's getting money hand over fist as well, right? So you can't do that. You can't just say, hey, I'm going to circumvent the salary cap. We'll wink, wink, defer this for down the line. And is Josh Allen, Shohei's a rare case. Yeah. I think Josh Allen's going to go, you can pay me $25 a year, but I'll take 2 now, and I'll take the other 23 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I'm
what
doubting.
did Bonilla do? He did
that over like 30 years. But again, baseball's a different. There's no salary cap.
Yeah, that'd be nice though as retirement, getting 1.3 every year.
It's smart because then you can't blow all your money.
No, right.
True. I mean, you could blow it 1.3 at a time. Yeah. All right, let's go through the games here this weekend. Right. First off, we've got over 300 votes on this. Which of the 4 underdogs is the best bet to cover the spread? Okay. Ask you guys on that before we get to the winners this weekend. You got Texans plus 9.5. Packers plus 9.5, Bucks plus 6.5, Chiefs plus 2.5. Tony, what's the best bet to cover this
best
weekend?
Bet to cover, I'd probably go with Tampa.
Tampa? Okay.
Against Detroit. Yeah.
Tommy?
I'm going to go Green Bay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're going to lose, but I think Green Bay keeps it within 10.
I think there's a little bit of a groundswell for people. I see some people starting to pick that upset pick. I'm with Tony. I'm picking the Bucks to win, so I certainly think they're the best bet to cover. If I think they're going to win outright, they're getting 6.5 points. So, all right, Texans, Ravens. What do you see happening this weekend?
I think Houston's going to come out strong, and I think Baltimore is going to pull away at the end.
Yeah, that's what I think. Too.
I don't know if
like a 13-point-ish win, maybe.
Yeah,
but,
it could
but
be
late.
It could be.
I think at some point in the fourth quarter, it's a one-score game. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. And maybe they throw on a field goal and it's 10 points, something like that. I think it'll be a competitive game.
I think the Texans are going to – they played in week 1. Texas went run heavy in that game because of C.J. Stroud's first game.
Yeah,
I don't even look at that.
No, me neither.
Right?
Me neither.
Tony, who are you going with here?
I'll go with the Baltimore Ravens at home.
Covering the 9.5?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm borderline. It's like you know what I mean?
That's how they do in Vegas.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's why they put it at 9.5. Yeah.
Niners over the Packers. Anybody taking Green Bay to win it outright?
No.
Okay. Me either. I've got the Bucks. Tom, you said you got the Bucks. Tony, you going Bucks or Lions?
I'm going Lions.
Okay, and I'm going with the Bills at home against the Chiefs.
Okay.
And, look, I think the Chiefs can beat them, and the line, but the line is only 2.5. So you're talking about the most likely to cover.
Yeah.
I don't think it's them. It's interesting though. Isaiah Pacheco didn't play the first time these two teams match up. Buffalo's a completely different approach team now. They've become a running team under Ken Dorsey.
You can run on them a little bit though too. I think KC's going to go in there and win. I love Buffalo, but I don't know. What really impressed me last week against Miami is the fact that you've got a QB. It doesn't matter what the conditions are. He's whipping it around anyway. You know what I mean? Like, everyone thought because of the weather against Miami, it's going to be run. And they're like, no, it's not.
No.
We got the QB. And so does Buffalo. So I think what a nightcap. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Mahomes is special. Yeah. Right? And in the playoffs, all we've seen is him be special. Like, his whole career, he's found a way to do that. I like the Bills at home.
By the way, I said under Ken Dorsey meant since firing Ken Dorsey before I get just destroyed on the text line, which is a daily occurrence, which is fine. All right, so here's what the percentages are in terms of covering. More people went with the Chiefs against the Bills, 36%. 28.8 said the Texans are the most likely to cover versus the Ravens. 23.4 went with the Bucks, and only 11.4 went with Green Bay, covering the 9.5 against San Francisco. I think we'll get more competitive games than we got wild card weekend, with the exception of the Lions-Rams. All right, let's welcome in XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Tire Outlet is now hiring. Visit tireoutlet.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer.
All right, we got Big Sirs here with us. What's
going
up,
on?
Leon? How are you?
I'm good. See my man T
What
Mac.
up,
I haven't seen
man?
him in a week.
Yeah, it's good to see you, bro.
Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
So we're talking about Josh Allen today in large part. What would you pay Josh Allen? Like an average, if Nick Bosa's at the top among edge rushers, on average getting $34 million a year. You had several guys this year that have not put up the numbers of Josh Allen, getting around $24 million. What's the what are you willing to pay Josh Allen? Average annual compensation.
And what does Bosa make at 34?
34.
Yeah. 25, 27, somewhere in that nature. Somewhere in that ballpark.
Like Rashawn Gary just signed a deal mid-season, $24 million a year. He's never had more than 9 sacks in a year.
Wow.
He's getting 24.
Yeah.
If I'm Josh Allen, I'm
like
not
those
taking 24.
guys that are going to be the mid-range guys in a couple of years when everyone hits the top, when the top guys start equaling that 34, then 25 is going to look like, okay, that's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Right.
At
It's
Josh
kind of like
Allen,
Christian Kirk's contract,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
it looked huge at the time, and then quickly it was like, oh.
Right.
It happens
pretty
fast.
Yeah, my only concern with that is that, it was his rookie year. Not his rookie, but it was his contract year. He had this big year. I got to see another year.
Okay.
Not before we pay him. No,
Okay,
not before
gotcha,
we pay him.
gotcha.
I'm just saying, I just want to see the consistency. Bosa got the money he got because consistently he's double-digit sacks.
So are you not giving him a 5-year deal right now?
Yeah. Well, it ain't my money. Hell, I'll give David.
Well, I understand, but if you were in charge, if you were the GM of the Jags,
right now with the consistency, not only with the sacks, the pressures, the tackles, and all that kind of stuff, he was an all-around player. Absolutely, I would give him the contract. I wouldn't mess around. I wouldn't mess around with tagging him and all this other kind of stuff. Just
But
give
if
the man
he
his
said
money.
28, 29 is what he would
what
want a
if
year.
he wants 30 a year?
Right, and you said, you know what, franchise tag, do it again this year. We'll talk about that again. Is that the direction you would go with it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's tough, right? Like you want him here, and people tell us, Leon, all the time, give him whatever he wants. Well, no, you can't give him whatever he wants. You know?
I like the 27, 28. They
I'm thinking in that ball range. I'm that ballpark. Somewhere 27, 28.
What's the risk for Josh? He signs the tag. Let's just say they go the tag. What's the risk? A, injury.
Sure.
B, doesn't have as good of a year as he had the year before. And then you know what I mean? Like maybe they say, hey, Josh, it's $27 million a year.
You could say that too at $25 million. And go, hey, look, because you're going to get 60, 70 guaranteed or whatever the number is.
Say in that scenario, well, wait a minute, I'm better than Gary, I'm better than Sweat, I deserve a little more
He
bump
could.
than.
Or you could tag.
You could also dangle that tag out there and go, here it comes.
You could.
Or you could tag him and then April draft Jared Verse.
If he makes it to you. It's, Jared Verse could
Let me ask you this.
be off the board.
Do you think they're thinking at all that Trayvon can take over for Josh in that kind of role? It's their first pick.
It is their first
He had a
pick.
good year.
He had a great year. Absolutely. I didn't see 10 sacks.
Because that part of the equation.
I think that if the negotiations go awry and they don't think I can get this thing signed and they sign him to a 1-year tag, and maybe you go get another pass rusher.
You're going to have to, sure.
Yeah, you got to get you another pass rusher.
But maybe that's it. Like, hey,
Trayvon can take over.
We thought they needed to get another pass rusher this year. They didn't.
Well, that would be Josh gone, though. Josh would
if
be
he's
gone.
gone. I thought you were saying under attack.
I'm just saying, like, if, say you can't come to an agreement, you're like, you know what, we got Trayvon. Let's just let Josh, we'll tag him and then try to trade him or whatever. But
there's I think there's like a 0% chance he's not playing for the Jags this year. Near zero.
There's
the only scenario is if they tag him and somebody came in and said, we'll give you all these draft picks for him. But they're not. You can't let him walk out the door.
No,
I agree.
You cannot. And Leon, I don't have a problem. Like, you tag a guy and you go draft his eventual replacement. But then if you're doing that, if you're drafting Jared Verse or whatever, what about O-line? What about wide receiver? What about what about corner? What about all these different things? It's tough.
Yeah, it is.
It's always tough when you go home and don't make the playoffs. All these different needs that you have.
Yeah, right.
It's amazing that when you win, the need it shrinks, but when you lose, you ain't out.
If they were in the playoffs right now, pay him 30. Yeah, what the hell? Give him whatever he wants. We're doing great.
Yeah, no, that's the way it goes. Leon, what's coming up today for you guys?
Well, we're gonna talk playoffs. We're gonna talk what team are you most afraid of going into this weekend, and we're gonna talk what do these teams in the playoff have that we don't have?
Ooh, good one.
All right, I
like
think
that.
what most people are afraid of is Team Bulky, but I'll leave on that. All right, that'll do it. Leon, have a good show. Appreciate it coming up. That will do it for us today on Jaguars Today. For Tom McManus, any gigs this weekend?
No, next Friday though at Cole Haynes at the beach. So
okay.
yeah, we'll be I'm chilling this weekend, man. I'm gonna do a lot
football
of
weekend.
Football and eating and hanging out with the fans.
All right.
It's gonna be great.
I imagine Tony's doing the same.
Divisional round of the playoffs, man.
Pockets, don't go pulling a groin today,
No,
man.
pray for me. Pray for me.
You know, faculty versus students
Yeah,
over
no
at
kidding.
Baldwin.
Dunk on somebody, would you?
Yeah, I'll
Right in
try.
your face.
I'll give you a box score on Twitter after the game.
What's
those
the
young kids'
highest
face.
rim you could dunk on, Pockets?
I can touch 10 feet, but with the ball, probably 9.
9, okay.
Yeah.
That's reasonable. Like now I couldn't. I could dunk on an 8. But back in the day,
jumping in bed,
10 feet 1 inch, I could have done. All right, that'll do it for us. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll come back next week, and hopefully the Texans have had their brains beat in. Honestly, that's at this
I don't
point,
really care, to be honest
I do.
with you.
I don't want to hear a whole offseason about how C.J. Stroud is the prince of the league. I really don't. That's me personally.
Yeah. Well,
So
he's earning some of that.
I'm not saying he's not. I just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Go
All
get
right.
your face smashed in and go throw 5 picks tomorrow.
There you
against
go. It
Baltimore.
could happen against that defense.
I will root for it.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for us. Have a great weekend, everybody. XL Primetime is coming up next. You're on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today Friday
Is brought to you by
CS